Hey guys, Jack here and welcome back. Obviously the Premier League ended and I just want to go through my awards for the season. Best player, best manager, my team of the season, and just discuss the season in general, and we're going to look at my predictions. So let's just jump into those. So yeah, this is my predicted Premier League table. I just did it on a tier thing because why not? I had Liverpool to win. I'm not gonna kind of sit on these. I'll show you the table in a bit, but the only ones I got really were Everton fighting for relegation and Aston Villa. And I'm not taking credit for Aston Villa because I thought under Gerrard he'd be able to ramp them up, big them up, and they'd get through like pure vibes, a bit like what he did with Rangers. But I was very wrong. I was so wrong. And yeah, this is horrible. This is horrible. Let's just look at the real table. And you can see in this and the actual table that I was very wrong. I mean, Leicester, Leeds and Southampton, decent quality, like especially Leicester, they probably should have been mid to top 10 if you look at the quality of the squad, and they're going to be losing a lot of those players. Tielemans, potentially Barnes, Madison, Vardy has gotten a lot older. They just don't have a lot of good. They just have a lot of quality, but they just didn't seem to gel under Rodgers and later Dean Smith. Not enough anyway to, save them. Leeds again had good quality, and I thought they would, they seemed to build for Jesse March at the start of the season. The likes of Aronson, Christensen, Adams, who was the best out of the signings that they got, but it wasn't enough. And obviously they sacked him for Javi Gracia, and then later Aladici. Just didn't work out in Southampton. Struggled under Hasenhüttl. A lot of issues behind the scenes with the owners, and obviously with Hasenhüttl being sacked, bringing on Nathan Jones, who struggled away from Luton and brought them further down the table. And even under Sellies, who did improve things a bit, wasn't enough. Everton obviously just about surviving. Forest did very well to survive. Bournemouth, I think, were a surprise package. People were thinking after the 9-0 with Scott Parker being sacked subsequently after against Liverpool, they'd struggled, but credit to him, and to get their a bit of form back and survive. West Ham, Wolves, they struggled. Then there was periods of time where people were thinking, could they drop? But they've had different fortunes. Lopetegui is a huge coup for them, but I think they're going to be losing a lot of key players this season with the club going to be struggling to fight in the transfer market, and probably have to lose the likes of Ruben Neves, Aït-Nouri, maybe even potentially Kilman if they can't generate enough revenue, because they're losing Rafa Jimenez, John Moutinho. They're losing a lot of key players. West Ham, on the other hand, were very poor in the first maybe even 2/3 of the season, and David Moyes probably looks set to lose his job, I think, around February or March, but he fought back and kind of a bit more respectable. But now they're in a Europa Conference League final. I don't know whether he'll stay beyond this season if they win or not, but it'd be interesting to see what happens, and I hope he does. If he does decide to leave, that they go out with the Conference League title. Chelsea was the biggest disappointment of the season. I think over 600 million in transfer dealings this summer. A lot of them just didn't hit. A huge financial hit for the likes of Todd Bowley and Clearlake Capital. They just struggled a lot. No coherence. Tuchel being sacked because they just didn't like him and how his conduct was regarding transfers. Graham Potter, who just didn't have enough time with the team. And Frank Lampard, who just didn't do well at Everton and just didn't perform with Chelsea. They're only getting one win. Just horrible. Palace did very well after Vieira. They were void of confidence, but then Hodgson, credit to him, fought back, and I'm going to be interested to see if he stays on. I doubt it, but they need to make a decision, I think, soon, because the managerial market will be snapped up quickly. Fulham, brilliant season. Brentford, again, brilliant season. I thought they'd struggle with second season syndrome, but both teams I thought would be in around the relegation zone. But they're incredible, both sides in their own ways. João Palhinha, great signing. Ben Mee for Brentford, excellent as well. Tottenham, another disappointment. Just Kane basically kept them in top 4 race. How with Conte losing his marbles, and just a lot of things not going their way, especially with like Heung-min Son struggling. Villa, brilliant season. Granted, with Gerrard, they were shocking, and until Emery came in, they looked like they could have dropped as well. But Emery got the team together, and they're going to be in Europe. They're going to be in the Conference League, which is crazy. And another team in Europe is Brighton, who's going to be joining Liverpool in the Europa League. De Zerbi has been incredible for them. After they lost Potter, I thought they were going to struggle, but they just built on from that. Seeing the likes of Sarmiento before he was injured, Enciso, Undav came into a bit of form, Estupiñán. Like they had a lot of quality players. Caicedo, McAllister, unbelievable. And Liverpool then, Klopp he struggled in the first half of the season, and I like how he did change his system to accommodate Trent Alexander-Arnold as kind of like a midfield pivot type of thing. It was a great move, and they are in a good position to bring a few players in and hopefully rebuild that midfield, especially losing a few key players like Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain and Bobby Firmino. And then we look to the top 4. Newcastle, unbelievable under Eddie Howe. I thought they'd be just kind of sitting, in the top half of the table, maybe to potentially challenge for like the Conference League or the Europa League, but they've finished top 4, and that's incredible. And making it to a Carabao Cup final as well. Like I say, I'm really happy for the Newcastle fans again to celebrate, these joyous occasions since Mike Ashley left. It's just great for them. Man United, very difficult start under Ten Hag, and in fairness he adapted, and while they did have a lot of issues, they managed to get through it, and I think it's a credit to him for just doing quite well and to just being a great character. I think he can go. I'm not saying he's going to win manager of the season, but to have dealt with the Cristiano Ronaldo ordeal as well as he did, I think that's just a huge bonus for him. And then we have the top 2. Man City winning it courtesy of Erling Haaland, and I think it was 36 goals in the league. His debut season, it's mental. And then Arsenal, who unfortunately ran out of steam, and Arteta had done incredible, and I think making top 4 was the goal. And we can't forget that. Did they kind of bottle the league a bit? I think they did. But you can't fault them for progressing as much as they did. And I think this summer is going to be crucial because likes Newcastle were reinforced. Man United, Chelsea won't be as bad. Liverpool probably won't be as bad. Brighton are challenging. Villa are challenging. It's not going to be easy. And I think this summer is going to be important for that. So yeah, that's my take at the league table. Let me just go through my little mini awards of the season. So my player of the season is Erling Brand Haaland, who just was incredible. I know you could have the likes of Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, but I think their form kind of fell off a bit. There was underrated ones like a bit like João Palhinha that was said before. Like Estupiñán, like a lot of good quality players. Solly March and the Pascal, a lot of the Brighton team, but Haaland was just incredible, and I don't think you can fault that. Even with he's adapted to Man City's team, and you can't fault just how brilliant he was, and with the potential of winning a treble, you can't go wrong with that. Manager of the season for me, it was tough because you had likes of Unai Emery coming in. Guardiola, obviously, with this tactical revolution he's had. Arteta for having a great season with, with Arsenal and De Zerbi, but I'm going to go with Gary O'Neill, a relative unknown really, to have gone from, like, Bournemouth were relegation candidates right from the get-go, but he just done incredible, and I'm fascinated to see what happens now in the summer, and if he'll get the proper resources with their new ownership. If he'll get the backing. It was incredible just how well he did, and they're just incredible, and I hope that Gary O'Neill potentially becomes a bigger English manager. Like, it's great to see that when you see a manager from the country of the league do well. I think and seeing Bournemouth, such a small club, who won't be the smallest club anymore with Luton coming up, it's great to see. Biggest overachievers has been Brighton. I mean, Potter did reasonably well to start off with, but then De Zerbi coming in and completely transforming them and becoming probably like a little like a Man City light. Seeing him play brilliant possession football, great intricate play, great young players, and their recruitment, they show how clubs should be run. And it helps that they aren't as big as the other clubs like Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, that they can go into these smaller markets because that's where they're able to recruit from, buy them, send them out on loan to a smaller league to allow them to develop and come back and sell them for a huge profit. It's a great model, and only they can really get away with it, because if you're likes of those clubs I mentioned before, you're gonna be paying so much for them, and it helps that Brighton can take these risks, these smaller time risks, and then embed them into the squad. And I can imagine they're going to continue with that, and with De Zerbi in there, the sky's the limit for them. And I know they'll lose players this season, but what's to say that there's not another Caicedo in the pipeline, another McAllister? It's going to be fascinating to see. And the biggest underachievers has been Chelsea, unfortunately. They've spent the money they have, they've spent on the players that they have, like overpaying for the likes of Cucurella, I can't remember. Yeah, Cucurella, bringing in Aubameyang, like Badiashile, who has been great for them, but just a lot of money. Enzo Fernandez, huge money, and they just haven't clicked. I think Tuchel, being sacked as soon as he did was horrendous. He is he's a top manager, and to have sacked him because it wasn't what you wanted from a manager was a bit mad. It was a bit mad at the time. But I thought Graham Potter would have done a bit better. I think it didn't help that he came in during the break of the Queen's death and then lost a lot of his team to the World Cup. It just wasn't ideal for him to implement his ideas, and unfortunately the board didn't feel like he was capable. And now that they've hired Pochettino, I don't know what's going to happen now this summer. They're not going to be able to spend as much, but the hiring of Frank Lampard was a interesting choice, and I think it was probably right they had the right idea to try to get the morale of the supporters back, but it just wasn't enough. So yeah, those are my mini awards for the team, for different accolades. Now here quickly to finish off my team of the season. For my keeper, I picked Alisson. I know there's the likes of Leno, Pope, Pickford, who had incredible seasons for their sides. I just felt especially when Liverpool looked like they could have missed out on European football, he always seemed to make these incredible saves. His one-on-one capabilities is incredible, and his distribution has been immense as well. I mean, that he managed to get Pope sent off before their Carabao Cup final with a great ball over the top for Salah to run onto. And I think while he has made mistakes, I think he has been probably one of the best keepers in the league. And again, as I said, shout out to the likes of Leno and Pickford for incredible seasons with their side. Backline, I felt like it was right. So my criteria was I couldn't have two players from the same side. So left back had Shaw and left centre back Martinez. I think before he was injured, Martinez was proved probably most people wrong. Insert Jimmy Carragher. He, despite the size of him, he has shown to be a world-class defender, and he showed that at Ajax, but I don't think anyone expected him to be as formidable as he's been. And Luke Shaw, who has not only played left back but also left centre back, left backs didn't have the greatest of seasons here. I know I talked about Stupinian, but I just felt Luke Shaw had an excellent campaign, and I'm really, really happy that he has he's kind of came back from adversity all those years ago to become, I would say, England's first choice. Then the back line, Thiago Silva, Mr. Consistent, probably the only shining light from that Chelsea side, alongside Kepa, who also had a good season. And then right back, Kieran Trippier. I did have Ben White as a potential option, but Trippier has just been immense as a creative player. He's just been vital to Newcastle and how they've set up and how they've attacked, especially at set pieces. It's just been incredible. And again, with him helping them in European football, he has the experience of playing Champions League. It's going to be very important for that side. So my midfield three is Martin Odegaard, Rudgley, and João Palhinha. So Odegaard has probably one of the better signings of the season, behind Haaland, of course, and it shows a good sign of Norway's development plan. Odegaard has been incredible as their captain and helping to add a bit of guile to the midfield, not like in terms of tackles and stuff, but he has shown leadership qualities I wasn't expecting really. I knew he was a leader. I mean, if you're leading Erling Haaland, you're going to have to be good, but he's been incredible. And I know he tailed off towards the second half of the season. But he has been brilliant for them. And I know there's a lot of players I could have here: De Bruyne, Gundogan, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Caicedo, McAllister. A lot of quality players. There's just not enough room. I mean, move to Rodri, who's holding here. He was incredible. He was quietly one of the best players in the league, and he was able to fit into this new Pep system. After late January. He just works really well, and he's scored a lot of crucial goals for them. And I think he's going to be important now for these next couple of games. Then we have João Palhinha, who, for the price that Fulham signed him for, I think it was about 18 million from Sporting, to get, for a relegation favourite at the time, to get, a Champions League, Europa League quality player was immense, and he has been incredible. Granted, he loves a good foul. I enjoy that, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets picked up. But Fulham at least have a lot of good. They can get a lot of money from him. Now, I know I have a player a bit out of position, but let me hear me out. I had to fit him in somewhere. So we're going to talk about Saka first, who has really stepped up his game once again. I mean, at the age he is, at 21. He has looked incredible. Again, tailed off towards the end of the season, but again, I say similar to Odegaard and the rest of the Arsenal squad, it was the case of fitness and momentum. I mean, I think he was overplayed, and the fact that he just got injured towards the end of the season it's very lucky for Arsenal, considering they probably wouldn't have been out of a title race if he was gone. Incredible, and I hope he does get the break, because at his age he's played so many games. Kane then on the left hand side, he'll just float in this hypothetical team. If it wasn't for Haaland, he'd have probably one of the best seasons ever. I mean, 30 goals, second time he's ever done that, and of course the first time he did it was against Salah, who also won the Golden Boot with 35 goals, or I can't remember, 32, 33. But he's been incredible, and I think if it wasn't for him, Spurs wouldn't be in the top four. They wouldn't have been near the top half of the table if it wasn't for him. And with his contract deal ending next season, I don't think he'll move this summer. I struggle to see that with Daniel Levy, to say, wanting about 100 to 150 million. It's not realistic for someone who's turning 30. I just don't feel that'll be the case. And lastly, Erling Haaland, as I mentioned before, 36 goals in the league, fits into the squad excellently, adapted well, and he has been probably the player of the season. So yeah, that's it for my kind of end of season awards. I hope you enjoyed the video, and apologies for lack of uploads. I've just been busy with college work.
I'm learning.
And yeah, that's going to be it for now. I hope you guys enjoy the FA Cup, which I'll put the score up there, and Champions League as well. It's going to be incredible, and enjoy the World Cup this summer with the women's sides. I'm going to be watching that, and hope when I'm not looking at research papers. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care.